Oh, great to hear from you guys. I am excited. I'm heading in right now on the LIE. The Garden has been rocking the first two games. Boy, it was the place to be. The fans were outstanding. The celebrities were all out. It's going to be a tough game tonight. Knicks are going to need the fan support like they had in that game, too, especially to come back down 5 with under 30 seconds to go. That was one of the biggest shots in franchise history that Dante DiVincenzo hit. They went and got 1 out of 2 down there in Philly, and tonight I anticipate Philly playing for their lives. You know what it's like when a team has their backs against the wall. They don't want to go home, so the Knicks are going to have to play well to finish them off.
I always hate the phrase wanted it more. But there's got to be something that explains why the Knicks win every loose ball, why they're grabbing every rebound. Is it just the way the Knicks are built, or are they taking advantage of something that maybe Philadelphia just doesn't have?
Well, when you're a little banged up like Philly is, especially Joel Embiid, by the way, it was a lot of fun calling the game with you on the radio, Don.
Oh.
That was a bucket list moment for me, and that was a great time.
Right back at you, man. That was a ball. You were very nice. You made it so much easier. You're great at what you do, buddy.
You too. I appreciate that. But a guy like Joel Embiid, he only has 2 rebounds in the fourth quarter the whole entire series, so he's very hampered. Listen, other guys, Josh Hart seems to do that to everyone in the league. He comes out of there with every single loose ball. Precious.
Oh, no.
Leading offensive rebounder in the NBA, or one of the top 5 at least, especially when he's healthy. So that's how the Knicks kind of built this roster. They built this roster with competitive guys. That's the most important thing. You got to be willing to compete. You got to be willing to play physical. You have to be willing to work. And listen, it says something about the Philadelphia 76ers. The numbers don't lie. The Knicks are killing the Sixers on the boards. They got every rebound in the fourth quarter. Even though their offense wasn't clicking, they got extra possessions, were able to just milk the clock with all their offensive rebounding prowess. So from the outside, I have to quite agree with you that it looks like the Knicks want it more, but that's what they pretty much do on a nightly basis to every other team.
Now, Wally, you said that, Embiid is physically compromised, but still he was able to get 50 points. So what is a manifestation of compromise for him? Is that he's not getting rebounds?
Yes, that's a big thing. And also defensively, he's not the same presence blocking shots. He only has 1 dunk since he returned from that knee surgery, with like 10 games left in the regular season. And that's very unlike him. That just shows he doesn't trust that knee. He doesn't have the power and strength to hold his spot and hold his balance. And the Knicks are a physical team. So the Knicks are banging him around. They're pushing him around. When he gets under the basket, he has trouble finishing. He's much more comfortable playing face-up, it seems like to me, shooting threes and not, going in the post and having a big guy leaning on him and banging on him. And I think one of the reasons why is because of that surgery. I mean, I'm not saying I've had the same surgery, but I've had knee surgeries similar, meniscus surgeries. It's no fun, especially when you play 35, 40 minutes, then you got to rest a day and play again. That knee's got to be sore. He's got that big, huge brace on it, which really helps stabilize the knee, but it also causes a lot of mobility issues because you don't have the function of that whole entire leg that you normally do without a brace on and without coming off surgery like he has.
Bogdanovich is done. How does that hurt the Knicks?
I think it makes a big difference. The Knicks went out and got him right around the trade deadline, and they wanted to secure that bench and get some shooting for this team off the bench and also in key moments. He's a veteran that's played in a lot of playoff games. He's a 20-point-per-game scorer perennially every single year. He's made some big shots for this team in this series. I think it's a big loss. It really is. It was an unfortunate play. It wasn't a dirty play by any means. Just a play that happens sometimes in football when you get rolled up on your ankle, or in basketball when there's a loose ball and a guy tries to dive and sell out and get it. I feel for Bogey. He's a great guy, great veteran, and the Knicks are going to miss him. But they've had guys hurt all season long, as you guys know, and everyone's been ready to step up and fill that void. So we'll see who gets the call. We'll see who steps in, and hopefully whoever does plays like Bogey was capable of playing.
Try to convince me, Wally, that the Sixers don't come in and just phone it in today, because it's very unlikely that they're going to win 3 straight against the Knicks. They were very unhappy with their home crowd, so you can imagine how unhappy they're going to be at the Garden tonight. What will stop them from just packing it in?
We'll see. I've been in that situation before. When you have a lot of pride in your locker room, when you think about it too, and logically, it doesn't take much to get back into this series. All you have to do is win this one game at MSG, and you've shown the ability to, because the first two games, they were pretty much coin flips, and they gave a game away in game two with a 5-point lead under 30 seconds. So their mindset in their locker room is going to be, let's just play one of our best 48 minutes of our season, get this win at the Garden. Then we're coming back to our house. Obviously, we weren't happy with the way the Knicks crowd took over half of the building. But at the same time, we're a good home team. You win that game, you just take one game at a time, and then you flip the coin in Game 7. It's on the road, it's at MSG. So that's the mindset in that locker room. Nick Nurse is an NBA championship winning coach. That roster is loaded. I mean, you look at who they have on that roster, top to bottom. It's loaded, and it seems like Joel Embiid, although he's hampered, he's not as bad as he could have been. And as a result, with him on that floor and Maxey on that floor, Sixers are going to be a tough team to beat, I think, tonight.
Now, is that something that has to get said in the room, or just based on how they played all year, does it go unsaid?
It depends. You might have a veteran that gets up and says, hey, guys, I love what Joel Embiid said after Game 2. He said, we're winning this series. I think that was the right message to send to his guys in the locker room. You can't have any doubt creep into your mind, especially after they gave away that Game 2 in the last 30 seconds. So that's a veteran locker room. They have some winners in that locker room, and I think someone's saying the right thing. That coach is always going to say the right thing. And when you look at it simply, you take one game at a time and get this one on the road, then you're in the driver's seat at home, and then you flip a coin Game 7. I'm sure that's what's being said in the locker room.
Wally Szczerbiak, Alan Hahn, and Bill Pito will be on the pregame tonight for Game 5, MSG Network. Their coverage starts at 6:30. Wally joins us now here on the Michael Kay Show. There was a poll of NBA players, Wally, that the coach they would least like to play for is Tom Thibodeau. And then it just seems like the Knicks players love playing for this guy. Now, are those other players wrong, or did they just find the right guys that would fit the style that Tibbs likes?
I just know I would love to play for Tom Thibodeau as a player. Being around the team a little bit, calling some games, being on the road, it is pure professionalism, the way he coaches and runs that locker room and runs this organization as the coach. He is an outstanding coach. His record speaks for his excellence and his greatness. And these players love playing for him. Josh Hart came to bat for him. He said those guys that voted him least likely to want to play for him, he said those guys are all must be soft. And it's because Tom Thibodeau, he knows how to win. He knows how to demand excellence out of his team. He also, what I love about him and getting to know how he's coaching, he's done such a great job with the Knicks, is he operates team first. He does not put any individual ahead of the team. And you also have a superstar in Jalen Brunson that has the same type of attitude. And that's how he handles his business. As great as he is, he's all about the team first. So that makes Tom Thibodeau's job a lot easier. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to win if you were playing in the NBA, because if you play for Tom Thibodeau, you're going to win. So whoever said they don't want to play for him, they kind of don't want to prioritize winning, because that coach helps you win basketball games.
No, Brunson was kind of handled during the season series and didn't put up the same kind of numbers against Philly that he did against everybody else, but then that all changed in the last game. Did he crack the code, or is it still going to be kind of difficult for him to get his against this Philadelphia defense?
I think in the first two games, I noticed Philadelphia was paying a little bit more attention to him, kind of clogging up the lane a little bit, not allowing him to operate and taking him away out of what he, really, likes to do. And they were daring other people to beat him, and other people were. Josh Hart's making shots. Dante had the good game, too. There were Bogdanovich hit a bunch of shots at home in those first two games. But then I noticed in Philadelphia, I think they played a little bit more straight up. And off those screen and rolls, there wasn't as much shrinking into the lane, so there was a little more space for him to operate. And when he has space to operate, I know he got 34 shots up last game. if they play him the same way tonight, he should try to get 40 shots up because he's unstoppable if you guard him one-on-one and you don't throw two defenders at him to try to get the ball out of his hands. He's just come so far in his career. He's become one of those superstars that if you play him one-on-one, he's going to hit you for 40 or 50. And then if you double him, he's going to trust his teammates, get them the rock, and they're going to have open shots all night long. So I think Philly's going to go back to what they did in game 1 and 2 and try to make all the other Knicks beat them and not allow Jalen to go for big numbers.
Wally, Don and I were talking about this at the beginning of the show, that, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. They still have to, end it with Philly, but the road's kind of opening up for them. Milwaukee is hurt. Their 3 players are hurt. It looks like it could be Indiana, and Indiana's a good team, but it's not as tough as, I would say, a fully loaded Milwaukee team. And then Boston loses Kristaps Porzingis yesterday. I don't know for how long. Do you see this road, at least to the Eastern Conference Finals, opening up for the Knicks a little bit more than we would have thought earlier?
Well, that's why the huge debate, it's an interesting question. The huge debate at the end of the season is, do the Knicks really want the 2 seed? Because they're going to have to either play Miami or Philly. And I said, you want as good a seed as you can possibly get. You see the home court advantage that the Knicks have. The Garden is just an unbelievable home court advantage. So now they're guaranteed home court if they win the first round. And that's big. I mean, that's huge. And then you never know what's going to happen in NBA playoffs. You see guys going down with injuries all the time. So you can only worry about what you can control. And the Knicks sprinted to the finish, got to the 2 seed. Now they're playing a banged-up Joel Embiid. I said, listen, you got to play the Sixers. Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they have a great roster. They have the former MVP, but he's not 100%. I think you can beat that team because he's not 100%. Hopefully, we'll see if the Knicks take care of business tonight. They should. They're in the driver's seat, but you never know. And then you're looking at a Bucks team that they're banged up too, and the Pacers are tough. Like, the Pacers can score. They made 23 threes, a franchise record on the Knicks in the regular season. I called that game in Indianapolis, and that team gets up and down the floor and has shooters all over the place. So that's going to be a very intriguing matchup. But the home court is huge for the Knicks to have that home court advantage. And then the KP injury, he was the Knicks' Achilles heel. They could not figure out how to guard him from that three-point line. He really hurt the Knicks all season in the regular season. That was a tough matchup for the Knicks to guard. So depending on his status, that's a huge break if the Knicks happen to get to that Eastern Conference Finals and if Boston happens to get to that Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, great stuff. I mean, I'm so looking forward to the game. I'll be watching it during commercials during the Yankee game, but have a great time in the postgame and the pregame and enjoy the game as well, Wally. We appreciate you coming on.
Anytime, boys. Great to talk to you.
All right, that's Wally Szczerbiak. He'll be with Bill Pito and our guy Alan Hahn on MSG starting at 6:30.
Wow, I've never been called a bucket list before. That was humbling.
Even Nancy doesn't put you on her bucket list.
No. But listen, I only did one game with Wally. It was the only game that the Knicks lost that I did. But he's so professional. He's so into it. And I'm just kind of taken aback that, that was back in, Michael, I was back in like November, early December, and that he remembered it and called it a bucket list. That's
So,
wow,
wait, are you saying that you prefer doing a game with Wally than with Monica? Is that what you're saying?
No. When did I said it was
I don't
great?
know.
I was great working with everyone. Listen.
I want things to be clear. That's all.
But I will say this. I never heard Monica say that I was any kind of bucket list, or I didn't hear that from Alan. But Alan was really gracious as well. I enjoyed working with everybody.
You're going to get a ring. I know it. 2 rings. You get a Ranger and a Knick ring.
Can you imagine? I don't think that's going to happen. Not that I don't think they can win the championship. I might get some consideration from the Rangers. I don't think the Knicks.
Why not? How many games you do? 8?
7. There were 6 and
7. So almost a tenth of their games.
You can make the case, Michael, that I might have been the reason they got the 2 seed. But I don't deserve a ring.
So they were 6-1 with you at the mic.
6-1.
I think that's a ring. Just me. I'm not making the decision.
Well, that would be something, Michael, because you have rings. I don't have any rings. Peter doesn't have any rings.
Well, Peter has
I'd like to catch up with
Peter has 2 wedding rings.
So you think that he's not here? That it makes it okay?
Yeah, I would have said the same thing if he was here.
That is true. I don't think him being here would have stopped you from saying.
No, in fact, it would have incentivized me.
You would have said it with a little bit more joie de vivre or whatever. Excuse me?
Hey, Don, I don't know if you know this. The hardest thing about getting into shape is taking that first step.